Thank you. Am I audible at the backside? Okay, before I get started, let me get an understanding of my audience here. With a show of hands, can you raise your hands if you're an OEM, you work for OEM or you're part of an OEM? All right, sizable. All right. If you're a tier 1 play, okay, some more. And if you're a tier 2, tier 3, tier N play, okay, there are a few hands. Great. All right, thank you so much. What I intend to do here today is, आपको पता है ना सारे हर शादियों में शादी बढ़िया चलती रहती है, and there was always this chacha who comes and says, यार लड्डू दिया मगर time पे नहीं दिया, I'm the guy who's going to play that role because I truly believe that synchronization, just like in weddings, everything has to fall in place so that the experience is great. Likewise, in the domain of manufacturing that all of us participate, synchronization across the board within the organization and within the industry is vital so that we all move forward together. So my topic of discussion today is technology related opportunities and challenges in manufacturing tier suppliers. I'm going to talk a little bit about where we stand, or at least where I believe we stand, manufacturing industry structure, comparative parameters which are evolving, challenges for technology adoption, opportunities for technology providers and players, and the role each of us play in this entire journey. Okay, let's have a little fun first. All right, you're seeing two images here. The image on the left-hand side is a depiction of an engine which has 1x horsepower. The image on the right-hand side, B, is an engine which has 2x horsepower. Okay, there's a starking difference between both of these images. One, here the tires are very well inflated, they're quite looking healthy, and on the right-hand side the tires are not completely inflated, but it's got a lovely, powerful 2x HP engine. Now with a show of hands, can you give me a sense of who is going to arrive at the destination? Which of the cars? A, who believes A? Okay, there are quite a few who believe A. What about B believers? Hardly any. Great. That's exactly the start point I wanted for this presentation, because I truly believe an automobile or an industry or an enterprise or a journey is only complete when all of us are healthy. Yashodhan, you talked about marathons. I'm also a marathoner, and early on, many years ago when I started, I thought the heart is the one which, heart ko theek karo pehle, saans achhi le paoge, marathon daud paoge. Then after a few marathons, I started realizing feet are also important, okay, because feet help you move. I started paying a little less attention to the heart, but then I started paying more attention to the feet. Then I realized that something good was happening, but then over a period of time, I realized the entire body is required to complete a marathon. It is not only the heart, not only the feet, but also the mind, because the moment you get distracted from the mind, you slow down. So that is what the analogy I'd like to use, which is what is happening here. The automobile depicts an entire ecosystem, with the tires being the tier 2s and the tier Ns, and the structure being the shell being the tier 1 and OEMs. So a little bit of what I want to accomplish in this presentation is the following. I want you to remember this slide, particularly the ones who are here who provide technology. And I think Satish, you gave me a great start to a relevant start of this journey here. And number 2 is, in the last slide, I want you to remember the opportunity that I'm going to present to you. Okay, just a quick snapshot of how the ecology or the ecosystem of manufacturing in India is. Very, very clearly, there are many. There are about 6 crore MSMEs in the country. Out of them, 2 crores participate in the journey of manufacturing. It's about a third of them. Now let's break down this 2 crores, what is happening in that domain. Like was very symbolic in the hand raise here. Very, very clearly the hand raise has a very strong correlation with what I saw in the presentation and the depiction here as well. There is only about 1% of the, I call it the large enterprises which are, let's say, 250 crore or plus revenue wise. there is about a 4% of them are in the journey between about 5 to 250 crore, medium size. And there's a whole bunch, it's a huge chunk, almost 95% of the folks who are lying in the, let's call it for lack of better words, bottom of the pyramid. Yeah? But remember, bottom of the pyramid is also the foundation of the pyramid. Yeah? And to me, this is the largest opportunity that is not completely harnessed. Okay, I won't talk much about this. Comparative parameters such as QCD, the T is being added, and precisely the reason why we are all together today. How is the T going to make the QCD better? Consequently, how is it that our enterprises become stronger, careers emerge, and we as a nation go in some collinear direction? Yeah? Okay, now let me start peeling the onion a little bit. I've been experiencing the, I call it the Indian automotive domain for the last 15 odd years across the entire bandwidth of, I've had 15 years of OEM experience, and then I've played as a tier one. I had a tier one business today. And as I engage with both the OEMs and the tier, and the tier twos and the tier threes, here is something that I'm seeing. And it's kind of encapsulated in 4 critical challenges. Number one is when it comes to technology adoption, the critical challenge I feel starts with difficulty to visualize the benefits. Number one. Number two is initial cost of technology. You know. Number 3 is once, let's say, technology free में आ गया, आपको पट गया कि इससे benefit मिलने वाला है, करें कैसे? You know, that is where we kind of get challenged, which is the training and workforce skilling is challenge number 3. And challenge number 4 is the guys sitting on the top are expecting data management, ये देखो proof मुझे दे दो, इतना analysis करके दे दो, भाई मेरे पास number 3 नहीं है तो number 4 की क्या बात कर रहे हो? You know, this is where I think the tier N challenges are struggling with as a macro journey. Okay, let's peel the onion a little bit further, and I want to, this slide is meant to be an appeal to the ones who provide technologies such as Dassault and others who are in this audience. This is a slide which is a depiction of what can be done. Yeah, very, very clearly, difficulty to visualize benefits is one of the critical, most important one, wherein it is important to not only talk about and say there are use cases. You know, the technology providers need to move from use case to showcase, because showcasing is believing. Yeah, and I think that is a very important aspect that some of the technology providers have already started doing it, but use case is not good enough for, I call it the tier 2s, tier 3s, and tier 4s. Okay, it has to be showcased well, the benefits. Number 2 is some opinion makers have to be created in the community, because we all are you know, humans, particularly the tier 2s and tier 3s are typically owners of businesses. They go by opinionation, यहाँ पे चल रहा है, यार I can try. So this is a trajectory that we need to, as a tier 1s and OEMs, have to help them embark. Number 2 is initial cost of technology. I look at classic example I can always imagine, and I think many of us have taken flights, we stay in hotels. When we go in hotels, we see that small Gillette ka sachet, you know, shaving करने के लिए, छोटा सा होता है. When we travel on an aeroplane, we see छोटी सी अमूल की डब्बी, you know, the small little sachet. On a daily basis, we'll use, you know, whenever we travel, there are lots and lots of people who use these small little shampoo things, you know, sachets. Fortunately, many of us are in the, probably the users of bigger chunk, you know, bigger bottle. But imagine the market of the members such as Hindustan Lever, Amul have created by going to leveraging the capability of a small unit buyer. You know, and I think that is precisely what the technology providers need to convert their technologies into unitized products to be able to make it relevant for the larger journey. So what I'm trying to say here is the way to work it is come up with unitized model, cost models to be make it relevant for the largest chunk which is yet to catch up. collaborate with them with knowledge and experience, because knowledge building is vital. Without knowledge, nobody embarks on such journeys. Training the workforce, I believe that the capabilities at the tier 2s and the tier 3s levels are very limited, and that is the reason why there must be community cost sharing, and community building has to happen. Last one, which I already alluded earlier, which is experience centers, which can be demonstrators, and belief would lead to embarkment would lead to participation in the entire game, and overall the car moves together. Lastly, but most importantly, data management and security. Besides knowledge, very, very clearly there could be, oops, I'm sorry, I did something wrong. Okay, there you go. Okay, there could be models which are, we call it subscription models. You know, subscriptions are coming everywhere in our life. You know, because we also like unitization, we also like tryouts, we also like trials, and that is the reason why economizing and making things relevant for the tier players is becoming a vital chain for all of us to succeed together. The takeaway from this is special focus and unique models are needed for small players to address their unique challenges. Okay, getting close to this is my second last slide. I think all of us who raise their hand in this room has a very vital role to play as this journey progresses from, I call it today probably we are in the manufacturing 3.0, manufacturing 4.0 stage. You know, in order to think and in order to get the masses embarked, all of us have a role to play. The first role, it always starts from the parental scope. Yeah, parents decide how the family runs, and that continues in most walks of life. You know, sometimes innovations can come from the bottom as well, but generally the large player, my appeal to the large player here is to act as technology leaders, trendsetters, and writers of the future. You know, you have to write the future. Then with the writing the future, the second role, which is the middle, with the medium enterprises, have to play the role of influencers. Now what influencers means is influencing upwards and influencing downwards, both ways. Yeah, they have to be doers and demonstrators. I do it, I work on it, I evolve with a formula that works for the industry. And they have to act as pollinators downwards. So they are the critical enablers in this entire room. And I think from a show of hands, I saw many of you are in that domain, yeah, as a tier 1 play. Last one is the ones who are less represented in this room with the show of hands. They have to be adopters, they have to be players, they have to jump into this game with some anxiety, but overcome the anxiety. But again, there must be a pull factor coming from the tier play above. My last slide here is again an appeal to all the technology players, yeah, technology providers. While it is difficult to address the bottom of the pyramid, this presents the largest opportunity for you to conduct business and also contribute in this overall journey of us all being in the same automobile. Okay, when I say automobile, I'm talking about moving from manufacturing 3.0 to manufacturing 5.0. And this is, to me, this creates a healthy automobile which runs faster, which runs together and wins together. So closing with something that we have all been hearing and which is very, very relevant, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Thank you to you all.